Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I am really excited actually. I'm trying out a new foundation. I have long been interested in trying a foundation from this company, but it never went beyond that. And here it is, you guys. It is the Cle de Peau, I can't read it. This is the Radiant Foundation in matte. Now, you might be asking me, why matte? I know that you don't like matte. A couple of reasons. One, I'm very, very shiny after I do my skincare, and most of my foundations take on that shine. I thought maybe I would get not a matte look out of this, but something a little bit more matte without having to put on a lot of powder. And two, I'm still having problems with the Eldridge foundation. The foundation has a beautiful finish. The skin looks beautiful, but it's not an easy application for me. And I've tried it many ways, and every time I sit down I just feel like, ugh, it's a pain in the neck. Whereas the foundations that I love, like this one, I put it on my hand, go boop, 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 and smear it all over my face, and it's like magic. So I continue to watch other people's videos to see what their experience is. And I ran into the Pampered Wolf, and she said that this reminds her of her beloved Cle de Peau. And I thought maybe I should give that a try. So I got the color 11 in the Eldridge, and I did that because I color matched to my 3 favorite foundations, and that's what they told me. This one, the color matching tool is on the Cle de Peau site and told me to do this shade, which is 020. It's actually 020. And the foundations that start with O are warm, and with B is beige, it's the cool. There are a couple of foundations that have other letters, but I'm not sure what those stand for. This is a Japanese luxury brand, and it's concerning for me because oftentimes with Japanese I have a hard time finding a good match. This is the color, and yes, it does look a bit yellow. I want to compare it to this. I keep on going back to the color of this because that's also something that is difficult for me. So that's the Lisa, and that's the Cle de Peau. And the more I look at it, the more I feel like there's a little bit of green in it. Like this one seems a little more fleshy, and this is a little olive, but it's not supposed to be. We're going to leave it on the hand and see what it looks like at the end. So we already know that this is a radiant matte. It's supposed to diffuse the skin and make it look like it has a special kind of je ne sais quoi glow to it. Something that the Eldridge actually does do beautifully. It has some very nice ingredients, and it's supposed to be skincare over time. There are also a couple of ingredients you should be aware of. There's titanium dioxide for sunscreen, so it's not just in here for color. So this does have an SPF. There is talc, which I know a lot of people might have a problem with, and there's mica, which some people might have a problem with. Those are fine for me. The thing I kind of have a problem with, depending on its position, is there's alcohol. But the alcohol is at the very bottom of the list. I would say, roughly, let's say there's 70 ingredients. It's in the last 10, kind of a thing. So I'm going to let it go. It is perfumed. I can smell it. I can smell it. It's got a rosy kind of perfumey thing going on. But I'm always excited because a new foundation is the possibility. It is before you put it on, it's before you've been disappointed or pleasantly surprised, and you found something new that you love that makes you feel confident and good about yourself in a bottle. Yeah, that's why we like foundations. That's why I like them. So I'm just going to disperse on my hand 2 pumps. I'm going to go in with a brush on one side, and then the other side I'll do with the fingers. I don't know what kind of coverage it is. I couldn't find that. But you know how the Nordstrom site is. It's got a lot of information. And I tend to gloss over and go, okay, whatever. I'm like a man with directions, you know. I don't need directions. I can figure it out. I'm definitely getting more matte, and it seems like it can be good coverage. Got to move over to the other side a little bit. And this is an Echo Tools brush, you guys. I think it's 12 bucks, and it's a solid flat brush. I like it better, in fact, than the Chanel. Really good coverage. Oh, I forgot to mention, a week ago today I had another BBL on my face, and I don't think I've shown you my face without makeup since then, but we were going for the reds because the Halo doesn't do reds, and we had a pretty aggressive session. My face was actually swollen pretty much for several days, and the reds are calming down a little bit, but I think it's going to be another week before they're gone. So this is kind of an interesting test. I mean, it's really covering it up pretty well. It's not completely gone, but it's darn good. I love the way this looks. I think it's beautiful. And I think it's also a pretty good color. When I look here, it's not too yellow. Quelle surprise, because I thought that this would be too yellow for me, and I really thought it was going to be too dark based on the picture of the model. This is not bad. Let's see if it changes color, because that's kind of it, right? That's kind of, and you know, we'll see, because this is the lightest part of my body, and I don't need to match that. I don't mind if it gets a little darker. I just don't want it to be more orange. And when you do this way, of course, a little goes a long way, and I'm probably going to get, still getting good coverage, but I can really move it around. I'm going to add a little bit, so we've got some redness over here. So that is 2 pumps, the whole face. And there it is right there. There's still plenty left. So that's nice. I can smell the perfume. I can smell the perfume. I can. So let's just go ahead and go in with concealer. Just a teeny bit. They work seamlessly together. I'm kind of excited. I do feel like this might dry down to a color a little bit darker. I think it already is. So before we go on with anything else, I do want to give this about 10 minutes. So I'll be back. I am back. I've done my eyes and my brows, but I noticed that the red marks from my BBL are coming through, so I thought I would go in with the concealer, because this I think is the best way to go in with this concealer instead of under the eyes. This is a Bobbi Brown old concealer brush, I think, and this is the color Almonds, and I'm just going to pick it up with a brush. You could first warm it up if you wanted to, and just hit these areas. So I got a better coverage, of course, with the brush than with the fingers. But I also feel like there's a little bit more going on this side of the face. And then just use a clean finger and kind of warm it up so it melts into the skin. And now I want to go in with the cream blush. So this is in 4, they call it Peach, and I don't think it's really peach, but I do think it's super beautiful. And if you follow me, you've seen me put this on over and over again. It's just kind of my go-to. I don't know what to do, I'm doing this. But I do want to try powder with this as well. Blends in beautifully. No problem with that. Let's do a bronzer. I'm going in with Victoria Beckham number 1 and a Q brush. And I'm just going to pick up the lightest shade that gives me a hint of color. I definitely feel like this is oxidizing. I don't know if I need all that much color. This is called Sweet Song. Really, really pretty. And this is in their cashmere collection. So it's a matte, but it's not a super matte. It's kind of like a satin. And maybe we should powder the face a little bit. I have to go into another room and check the color, check the light there. But this is the Lisa Eldridge, and this is the Cle de Peau. And the Cle de Peau started off, to me, looking a little lighter and much more neutral to yellow, while the Lisa was golden and seemed a little greenish. Doesn't look like that now. But let me go outside, take a look outside, take a look in another room, and come back and tell you what I think. All right, it looked the same outside. So Lisa's actually not looking as orangey. It does look more yellow with a kind of a greenish thing going on. It does look more neutral than this one. This one on my hand, it's really kind of on the heavy peachy side. It is not a bad color, but it's not a great color. It's not like I feel like boom. You know, it's like you know it when it's the right color. I like it with the brush a little bit better, but that's probably because I have stuff going on my face and I got better coverage with the brush in this case. And the shine is coming through, so let's see how the Cle de Peau powder works with the Cle de Peau foundation. So I just take the puff and my Wayne Goss brush, which is back in stock, you guys. This is the best brush for powder. I even take it on the tip and use it for contour. So you're just getting a little bit when you pick it up this way. And by the way, you guys, this is on sale right now. And I think I'm going to get this up pretty quickly, but it's been on sale at Nordstrom's for 15% off. It has this very slight pinkness to it, which you probably can't see on camera, but it helps to combat the color of the orange. I'm tempted to get my big Sept brush and pound the face to see what that might look like, but I wasn't planning on making this a 2-day wear test, but maybe I should. That really helps the color a lot. Now, I'm not somebody who's very comfortable powdering my face like that. I don't do a whole face of powder, but kind of takes the edge off, right? Okay, I just wanted to take my hair down to see what the whole effect is, because sometimes when I go in with shadows like this, I feel a little dead, and I wasn't sure if it was the lip color or what. And I decided, let's play a little bit with lip color, right? And yeah, just a little bit of something to make me feel a little bit more alive, and a bright lip color does it for me. So what do I think about this foundation? I think it's too soon to say, but I am here to say that it most definitely does dry down to a peachier, warmer color. And you know what, you guys, I might come back later on today because I don't know. I want to see what this looks like in a couple of hours. So I'll come back in a couple of hours and then we'll do the full report, because how can I possibly say if I like something just by putting it on? How silly of me. Best laid plans, you guys. 2 weeks later, almost 2 weeks later. I did shoot the next day, but it was raining and cloudy, and now the sun is out, but it's also cloudy, so it might be in and out. And it was just, it just didn't look good. It was a little all over the place, and last night while I was editing, I thought, why don't I come back? Why don't I come back and do this again? So I have worn this several times since I first shot my first look. And is it first look, first try, first impressions? And I can say that that first day, I didn't love it. I didn't love the Cle de Peau powder all over the face. I found it to be a little bit drying, but truth be told, when I do put the Cle de Peau all over the face, no matter what foundation I'm using, it feels a little bit drying. So today I want to try it without that powder, show you what it looks like. I also have a lot of my redness from the BBL has faded. I have generalized redness, yes, but I don't have those marks. So I thought I would do 2 different applications today as well. I thought I would do fingers on one side, and on the other side I would do the Beauty Blender. I have worn this about 3 or 4 times, and I have to say this lasts all day long. There's no breaking down at all. I thought it looked beautiful on the skin, and I thought it was pretty solid coverage. I did have to go in with a concealer for the red bits that were quite red, but now I'm kind of more normal, so let's see what's going to happen. And you could, the Pampered Wolf said, you can shear this out and get a sheer coverage. So well, I have some redness I want to address, so let's see what happens. I'm going to do 2 pumps again. These pumps are pretty generous. Yay. And let's just do finger application, which is my favorite, and it's the easiest. And again, oh my god, the scent is really something. It's different than my other foundations, I will say that. I just feel like I really put on way too much. So we're going to pull it down a little bit. Way too much, way too much, way too much. I think 1 pump will actually do the whole face. And I also feel like when I first put this on, the color is pretty good for me. It's a good winter color, but it does 100% warm up. So I'm just really going to work this in and stretch it out more than I thought I might. But it's certainly a fast application. There's not anything fussy about it. Pretty nice. Without, with. And yet it looks skin-like to me. I did dampen a Beauty Blender. Now usually I'll use a Beauty Blender actually after I put on something and just smooth everything out. But we're gonna do it this way, the way so many people love to do it, and see what happens. See, it's a decent match with my ear. I said before, I don't really necessarily feel that I need to match the lightest area of my face for foundation, but this seems to do that until it oxidizes a bit. I think less coverage with the Beauty Blender, not a huge surprise, right? So full coverage with the fingers and less coverage with the Beauty Blender. You can see there's a little more pinkness from my cheeks coming through, and that really sucked up a lot of the foundation. So I'm just going to try to take some of this off with the Beauty Blender. Hi Lucy! Hi baby! She's like, well, you haven't been in this room for a while. I know, it's been raining. She's a little arthritic, so it's really cold here. Spare me. I know people who live in places where it really gets cold are laughing, but it was like 48 during the day yesterday. Okay, so this is, a medium coverage. So I'm just, going way past the point of need here as far as blending goes. But you cannot be over blended with foundation. I checked. And the sun's back out, so it's like in and out and in and out. And I just wanted you to see with the sun out so we could get an idea of the color. Right now I think the color is pretty darn solid. So let's go ahead and go in with some concealer. I'm going to be doing the Clinique. I think this is my lightest. And I do already have foundation under the eye, so I shouldn't need too much. And I'm going to cut away now and do my eyes. This is the way I like to do things. I like to put on the foundation, go to the eyes so the foundation can really settle in before I go on with any bronzer or blush or any other face products. So, alright, I did some eyeshadow and mascara. So let's go in with a little bit of blush. I'm going to start with Flirtatious. So we're going to start with powder. and then go with cream on top. And I want to do a little bit more than I usually would today. Goes on like a dream, no problem. And I'd say I was probably letting this set out for about 15 minutes while I was doing the eyes. Let's go with a little bit of powder bronzer. This is the Victoria Beckham. So, best laid plans, you guys. I thought it's going to be sunny today because yesterday was pretty sunny and I would get good light, but what's going on here is it is so dark in here. I think it's working very nicely though. The Cle de Peau blush, you knew I was going to go for that, right? This is in the color Peach, and my nails broke so I can get my finger in here very nicely. No problem at all. So other products layer on this very, very nicely. But let's finish the look. And that's pretty much it, you guys. I finished with this Givenchy I Can't Read It and my magnifying glasses in here. So everything will be linked below. So let's go over the pros and cons on this. The pros are the coverage is very nice. And I don't have something quite like that. It is supposed to be matte, but as you can see, I'm not matte. But usually I feel like I need to do some powdering, and I don't with this. So I start very, very shiny. I've said it a million times. And this is definitely a radiant look on me. So there's a little bit of a sheen, but not a lot, which I quite like. It is long wearing. It's not fussy to apply. A little bit really does go a long way. I think I could have done my full face with one single pump. And those are all great things. The cons, it is egregiously scented. It is a perfume bomb, and I just don't think it's necessary. The second con for me is the color, but the honest truth is I can't come to any conclusions on it because the weather has been cloudy almost every day. Yesterday it was sunny, and I didn't wear this. So their color range is warm and cool, and that's it. There are no neutrals in this line. It does warm up a little bit, and I'm seeing it now. I mean, on camera it looks great, but I still haven't decided, is this a shade that's going to work for me personally on the ugly day? For me personally, there's nothing worse than a bad color. If you cannot, I don't care how beautiful the foundation is, a bad color just can't work. So I'm still undecided on this, but I did want to show it to you and share it with you. I think it is a beautiful foundation. Just, do you hear the clip clop of Lucy? She's just like wants to eat right now, even though it's a half an hour before lunchtime. It looks beautiful on the skin. I'd say the worst thing besides this color situation and the lack of neutrals is the scent. I don't smell it anymore, but it is the strongest scented foundation I think I've ever come across, and it's just not necessary. The bottle is really, really pretty. You guys, that is it for today's video. I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.